everyone's having an awesome day. So today's video is going to be kind of cool, a little bit a change of pace. This is an entirely change of pace. I was torn between doing this video as a POV video and having the action cam on and the head strap on and just driving around. But for me, if I don't have to drive, I ain't gonna drive. So I decided to eventually go with a sit-down video, but instead of doing it in the office, it's a little warm right now, I guess, because the sun's directly on my back right now, and I'm wearing a black shirt. But I decided to do it out in the garage with the truck behind me for background effects, because, I mean, come on, it's a snazzy looking truck sometimes. But today's video is about pet peeves while driving. I was originally going to do this as a top 10 kind of deal, but I couldn't come up with 10, so I'm just going to call it pet peeves while driving, because I'm not really going to put them in any sort of specific order, I guess. And this is inspired by the little rant I went on at the end of the last video, which I filmed actually this morning and edited this morning and then uploaded this afternoon. So that's actually why, if you guys remember that in that video, I talked about how it was really, really foggy this morning, and I was complaining about how people don't turn the headlights on when it's foggy outside. So it's like, why not just do a video dedicated to my pet peeves while driving? And here we are. So the first one we'll talk about is, well, the aforementioned not having your headlights on in dangerous conditions. What do I mean by that? Fog, rain, sleet, stuff like that. I know what that is. I'm just going to pretend I don't hear it. Anyway, so the first one is not having your headlights on in dangerous conditions. So, like I said this morning when I was out doing my business, as I've talked about many videos before, we don't have a trash service here. I am the trash service. I get the trash out of the cans, throw in the back of the truck, and go and drop it off myself. And today was one of those cases. And on the drive there, with the really dense fog we were having, I had to avoid the drivers who were flying up behind me, that I was coming up on from behind, that I couldn't see through the fog because they didn't have any sort of headlights on or running lights. I had some cars, I didn't care if you had like running lights on or your parking lights on. That's one thing. That's just, a courtesy. But you need some sort of lighting in those circumstances, because, I mean, how else are you gonna know what's around you if you can't see it because of the fog? Same thing, it's really bad in the rain. Rain, you pretty much need your headlights on as if it's nighttime, because, I mean, your visibility is literally getting destroyed right in front of your face by the rain. And parking lights can't save you on that one. I've noticed. I've seen cars that just turn their parking lights on when it's raining. No, you need the full-on headlights in the rain. Sleet, obviously, for you northerners that are watching the channel that drive in snow and sleet and ice, whatever. We don't get that a lot here, so I don't have a lot of experience, so I can't say from my personal experience that, whether you should just use parking lights or full-on headlights. But I think snow and sleet should be in that same tier as rain, so if you're in that junk, make sure you use your headlights, just to a courtesy to everyone else. You think you may not need it, but it's nicer to everyone else who can't see your car. And that's really the point of it. It's not as much a danger for you. It is a danger for you in some circumstances, but it's more of a courtesy to everyone else around you, so that you're visible. And in these conditions where your visibility is harmed, I mean, in my opinion, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So that's why headlights not being on in those in that weather area, that area of weather, is a pet peeve of mine. So the next one is one that actually bothers me a lot, and if I did this in some sort of like list video, this would definitely be my number one, and that is tailgating. Contrary to popular belief, me being a car guy, you would think that I am like some hyper speeder that is always driving at 30 over the speed limit, in and out of lanes, driving like a-hole. I'm not actually like that. I would like to say I'm a pretty, calm and collected driver, to the point where I get complained about from friends that I drive too slow. I do that mainly because I, have a somewhat irrational fear of police. Not as much of a sense of authority as much as it is, recent events and stuff like that, people getting arrested for very little reason or people getting shot for no reason. I'd rather not be in the circumstances where something like that could happen. I know there's a lot of political stuff in that, which you guys know I'm anti-political, so I'm not going to get into that. But that plays a part in it. And the other part of it is I'm afraid of what's around me. Again, that kind of ties back into the last one where I talked about the headlights. It ties around me. That's why I don't street race, is because I'm afraid that the moment I get up to a crazy high amount of speed, I'll pass a cop or I'll hit somebody and I'll kill somebody or myself in the process. So that's why I don't street race, and that's why I kind of I'm careful with my speeding. I don't want tickets. I don't want points on my record. I don't want my insurance to go up from speeding tickets. I'd rather drive safer to save money, I guess you could say, and for better peace of mind. Because in that case, if a wreck happens, I can almost guarantee that it wasn't speeding's fault on my end that caused it. It would have to be like a lapse of judgment or someone else's fault altogether if I were to get into an accident in that case. So it keeps liability down. It keeps me safe, and keeps me from having to lose money from paying fines and tickets. So that gets me into tailgating. To me, tailgating is probably a huge problem in the car world because it's immature and stupid. In cases, obviously, where someone's going under the speed limit, I can understand a bit more, but I still think you're being too much of an a-hole if you're going to tailgate somebody. A lot of the time, people tailgate because they're in a rush, and in my opinion, you just leave earlier. Stop, wasting time in the mornings if you need to get to work. Don't tailgate others and, take your anger out on them when it's your fault for not getting up early enough to go to work or go to wherever you got an appointment at or whatever. Because 90% of the time, those people rushing are on the way to some sort of time-sensitive activity, such as work, school, etc. So what I'm trying to say is don't drive like an a-hole if it's your fault you're leaving late. And for my chronic speeders, you have to be understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you. There are other drivers out there that are, the same kind of mindset I am. They're trying to make it from point A to point B safe without getting in trouble, and without, overly speeding and harming themselves or someone else. So you being arrogant and being like, oh, I want to go faster, so you're going to go faster. I'm going to push you to go faster. You're kind of an idiot, and you're selfish and you're stupid. That's really all I can say. So yeah, tailgating is a huge problem for me. And I'm the type, when I get tailgated, 90% of the time, the first thing I'll do, if I'll notice someone's coming up behind me very fast and it's a 2-lane road. What I mean by 2 lane is 1 lane on each side. A lot of people seem to get confused and think when I say 4 lane, they think they're 2 lane, and etc. But when I say 2 lane, I mean 1 lane going this way, 1 lane going that way. If I've noticed someone's coming up behind me on a 2-lane road and fast, I'll usually speed up. Usually if I'm on my own and there's no cars around me, I'll cruise right at the speed limit, maybe about 5 over at most. I'm not going to say that I'm not some sort of speeder. I will admit I go most of the time 5 over, which is, follows my rule that was, pretty much told me by the Adamson Mafia staff a couple of years ago: 5 you're fine, 9 you're mine. That's the kind of the rule I follow when I drive. I won't lie and say that I adhere to the speed limit to the point, but I'm not, a slow poke rule. I'm not like a chronic over speeder either. No one's perfect in speeding. But if I notice a car's coming up faster behind me, if I'm going just the speed limit, I'll usually speed up to 5 over. And if they still fly behind me, I'll start to get irritated, obviously. I will admit I do have some road rage tendencies, not to the point where I'm going to get out and fight people, or if I had a gun, pull a gun and shoot somebody, but to the point where I'll play mind games if someone tailgates me. My most popular one is I'll slow down. If I'm in a 45 zone, someone's tailgating me, I'll drop to 35, or I'll drop to 40. I'll drop between 5 to 10 under the speed limit, just to kind of rub it in and acknowledge the fact that, yeah, I know you're riding my bumper. I'm just going to make it worse for you, make sure you're late now. On a 4-lane road, we have like a couple of local highways around here that are 4-lane roads. And usually what I'll do for that is if someone's tailgating on one of those roads, I will pace the car next to me. That way I block them in. They can't get around me. They're late for work because they left early and are taking their anger out on me. Yeah, is it petty? Absolutely. But in my opinion, if you're going to drive like an a-hole, I'm going to drive like an a-hole back and be twice as brutal with you. So Obviously, I'm not the type to brake check. I've done it before when I was 16, because let's be honest, when you're 16, 17, you just get your license, you drive like an idiot. You speed too much, you tailgate a lot, you brake check people. So I'm not going to say I'm a perfect saint or anything, but that was something that I did back when I was 16. I don't do it anymore. A lot of times I'll do like a little tap just to acknowledge it, be like, hey, slow down, you're on my bumper too much, go away. But I'm not full on trying to stop, come to a complete stop with a car on my bumper behind me. But yeah, I play more mind games than anything. That's petty, I know, but it is a problem with me with tailgating, and I'm probably never going to change on that one. My next one, and this is something that I don't take as seriously as other people do. Like in our friend group, we used to have like all the time where our friends would stop and like point out a driver, like, "Hey, put your phone away." The next one is texting and driving, or talking on the phone and not paying attention to the road, because so many factors happen here when you're texting and driving or talking on the phone on the road. You lose your judgment because you're not paying attention to the road. You lose track of what you're doing. Obviously, like I just said. You lose your connection to the car because you're focusing on that text message or that phone call. Obviously, you're endangering yourself. But at the same time, you're also complicating things for drivers around you, because I've seen a lot of people who will I literally watch it, they'll get their phone out of their pocket, sit there texting and driving, and then they'll veer off to a side, or they'll veer to the other side, nearly cause accidents. They'll slow down rather aggressively. I've seen multiple car drivers that text and drive drop to 5 to 10 under the speed limit because they're focusing on their phone and not focusing at the speedometer or what's on the road ahead of them. It's pretty much texting and driving is the lone reason why, if you guys have watched my POV videos before, you'll know that I plug my phone into my radio and it goes in the center console, because I want no sort of way to get distracted by it and touch it. If I use voice controls for everything in the truck, if I need to call somebody, I'll push a button on the radio, pull up Siri, and call somebody. So that's kind of that. Texting and driving is a huge problem for me. I feel like it's one of my biggest pet peeves while driving. If I see other people do it, now obviously I'm not going to go and shout at people and be like, "Hey, get off your phone," or anything like that. But I will get annoyed by people who are on their phone and driving, because it's like you're slowing me down. You're being annoying. That's kind of really the only way I can get around it. But yeah, those are the only things I can think of right now. What are your pet peeves while people drive? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it back from you guys. That's kind of the purpose of this video. It's kind of a discussion, just kind of goof off video. It's nice out. I thought I'd come out here and shoot the video out here for you guys. Hopefully new sport track content will be coming soon. New mods and stuff have to get done. I'm still, like I said before, I'm waiting on the big sum of money, whatever. You guys already know the story. And then we'll be able to actually dive into that thing full big time. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But yeah. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone.